this information session, so it will be available to you or your colleagues as we move forward. So welcome to our session. This is an information session for stakeholders in the early childhood sector, and it's all about the Positive Living Skills Early Childhood Wellbeing platform. And so, as I said, I'm Jo. There's Kath. She might say a quick hello.
Welcome. Lovely to have you join us tonight. I've probably spoken to a few of you. Let's see, I think I have, but I can see Jean on there, one of our directors that I've
Please come on, put your camera on if you're not, don't be shy. And we got the lovely Hayley. Say hi.
Hello, everyone. How you going? I can see lots of familiar names. I'm really excited. And I actually know there's quite a few of you that are really under the pump. So I really appreciate you making the time tonight to join us.
Yeah, exactly. And Evie can wave. Evie looks after all of our online operations, which is essential in our world. So look, yeah, we're going to spend about 45 minutes together. We're going to go through all you might want to know about the Positive Living Skills Early Childhood Wellbeing program. Think about your questions and either put them in the chat as we go. And we are going to have a dedicated live Q&A section of this information session as we move forward. So I am going to get through some content just to make sure that I've covered what we would love you to know. But don't hold back. If you've got a question, please put it in the chat and we will definitely get to it. And of course, yeah, we'll have a live session as well a bit later on. And I just wanted to check in for those who have joined us already, and we'll probably have some more people join us as we keep moving forward, is really keen to or curious to find out how things are traveling for you now. As Hale said, you've got a lot on your plates, and we really acknowledge all people in the education world, especially early childhood educators, and especially those who've taken their time out tonight to join us live. So the work you do is vital in our communities, and it's really something that we've developed these resources with that in mind, and we just understand the vital role that you play and the important role that you play. So we really just take our hats off to you as and the work that you do in sincere acknowledgement of that. So throw into the chat if you've got a couple of words you want to share about what you're finding are the biggest challenges in your role right now, and what you think is really challenging, maybe your service, your role yourself, or the sector as a whole. We'd really love to hear about that. So we're going to go through a little bit of fun information on the program. We're going to talk about what funding is available in certain areas. We're going to go through the program, show you the actual platform and the features and functions of the platform, and we'll have that dedicated Q&A section. So you've got a few of us with you here tonight. Myself and Kath, we've been involved in Positive Living Skills a long time, and we've been working together to develop and prove these resources, and we've built a small team around us and then a greater team around that. So we've got Hayley, as we said, here tonight. We've got Christina. She's not here tonight, but she looks after our primary school members as well. And we've got the lovely Evie. And then surrounding us is a greater team of professionals in research, in education, in psychology. And, you know, we've got a lot. I'm just got to see somebody I'm going to admit to the room here. And, you know, we've got a wonderful team of people that we've been working with over the years. Kath founded this, you know, based on her own life experience and her real driving need to support the young people in her life and herself. And I joined Positive Living Skills at a time when I learned that I wasn't going to be having children of my own, and that prompted me to really yearn to find a lot more meaning in my life, and that led me to this as well, and as a way of helping myself learn skills that I needed to help me. It sent me on a journey to learn about counselling and coaching, and I spent 12 months as a Lifeline telephone counsellor, which was a really valuable experience for me. I learned a lot. And thanks for those sharing. So staffing or lack thereof, not having enough time to do to do your commitments in your role. Thanks, Tracy, for sharing
It's a
that.
huge challenge, Chauncey. We hear that a lot. We do
Yeah.
understand that, yeah.
And like Hales was saying, Jean, she was talking to Jean today, was talking a lot about lack of staff. We know that's a really common theme. So, you know, you're trying to do this vital work in your setting, and you're faced with these additional challenges, which can be, you know, can add a real stress to you.
And day in, day out too. It's not like it's a phase. It's been ongoing, hasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
It's just a lot.
So look, we've been working on this for a while, and we're happy to say that we've got more than 450 educational sites and growing across Australia. So we're a national initiative in early childhood education and primary school. So we're evidence-based. So our programs have been evidence-researched via our partnership with Charles Sturt University. If you've heard of BU or the Beyond Blue initiative in education, we're an accredited program on their panels for early childhood and for primary school. And we're on the New South Wales Department of Education Student Wellbeing External Programs catalogue in the themes of resilience, behaviour and sense of belonging. So if you're a New South Wales-based state preschool, that could be of significant interest to you. And South Australia, we're on the Department for Education External Program Wellbeing Directory as well. Yeah, exactly. It's hard to stay positive when you're always under the pump to meet commitments and to be on the floor as well. So absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
So that's just a little bit of background about who we are and what the evidence that has not just informed, but now the program's evidence-based in their own right over the last number of years. So the platform itself features, and I'm going to be showing you some of these things or most of these key components, individual learning experience based on some key concepts that we've developed through positive living skills. There's a story time library, which expands on the resources even more. There's a dedicated activities guide helping guide you to the learning experiences and resources, a media library, activities for the 0 to 3 years old, for lots of school ready and transition support, transitioning within the service between rooms, as well as transitioning that important transition to primary school, family resources and editable learning stories, which I'll show you one tonight as well. And then of course there's Possible, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more. He's a very, very important part of our initiative and of early learning settings and family environments as well, and a lot more, and professional development for educators as well. So I'll be going through a lot of those key features. So the Positive Living Skills Early Childhood Wellbeing Program is supporting a range of early learning services to meet the early years learning framework, to support school readiness and transitions, to improve those Australian Early Development Census data stats in the areas of emotional maturity and social competence, and to meet or exceed the national quality standards. On top of that, to build educator capacity and confidence, which we know is really important, to enhance family partnerships, and of course, to teach children essential preventative mental health skills. So we want kids to go through their early learning journey and their primary school journey and show up at high school with a set of behaviours and skills and attitudes that they can implement to help them lead into that trickier adolescent time. You'll see here a sample, and this is available within the platform, of how the Positive Living Skills program meets the National Quality ASEQA standards, and it includes components in quite a lot of the areas, most of them, and this is what educators and directors are putting in with their quality improvement plans, etc. So you'll get access to that as part of the subscription. As well as that, just supporting behavioural goals, more and more services are telling us about how the Positive Living Skills program's helping them with the program, with their goals in terms of helping behaviour within the service. So, we've got some partnerships in place that are growing nationally with early childhood brands, and one of the key reasons that they're moving forward, one of those is behaviour. So it's also supporting peer support and enhanced inclusion, thanks to a partnership, well, it was already inclusive, but we're now growing a partnership with Keyword Signs, which is turning our concepts into line drawings that educators are loving. And it's also boosting with educator wellbeing, and like we've started talking about already tonight, is a very, very important focus and goal for us, supporting that. So there's dedicated professional development sessions available to educators who are part of a service who have a license to implement the Positive Living Skills program. So those topics include self-leadership, building positive focus, and stress management and self-care. Each session is 90 minutes in length, and there's accompanying workbooks that we've designed to help guide you through that PD session or experience. If you'd like our acknowledgement for that PD time that you've spent, you can complete and submit that workbook to us, and we will acknowledge your 90 minutes of PD. So there's, you know, what is that, 4.5 hours of PD included, and in the program. So boosting morale, embedding positive, easy to understand and empowering language patterns. The feedback we're getting from services is that it's really helping them build their personal confidence in how to talk about mental wellbeing and how to teach it in common language sort of fashion. So what's in the welcome pack? So I've got a welcome pack here, and you can see me very clearly in the corner there, but it's got our Possible puppet. So he's a very, very important part of the platform and the program and the approach, and he is a key to helping you. He's like another educator in the room. He helps parents and families are telling us about how he's helping children get to sleep and eat new foods and give up their dummies. And yeah, he's a really important. So he whispers in your ear, and he can sit in the environment. You can make him his own special place. I'm taking away from my next slide. In the service, where he can help observe and interact with and influence the situation within the service. So he's a really key important part. There's family link, there's flyers in here for you to share with your families. There's a poster for you to put up in your service saying that you're implementing an accredited BU, accredited mental health program in your service. There's other posters with the keyword sign concepts on them. So there's a lot included in the pack. Happy highlight clickers. So they help you teach children about build positive neural pathways by helping them learn about how happy highlights are available in all of our days, and they can be big things and small things. So there's a bunch of those, and a pen and some other things there. So I don't think I've missed anything there. So that's the welcome kit that you receive as a service when you move forward. So as mentioned, Possible teaches kindness, empathy, persistence, and patience. So it's really about having a try of something new and persisting until you build your skill, because that's the only way we learn about anything, is to give it a go and then practice. We don't pick something up and know it and have competence straight away. Striving for your personal best, how to be inclusive and support your peers, how to build appreciation skills, and health and nutrition and movement and dancing and lots more. So he's a really powerful part of the program, and we're looking forward to developing him even more. So we're talking to a costume provider right now to build a life-size costume for Possible so that he can get out and about some more, and we're really excited about that. He's a fantastic. It's a great place to start with the program as well. So the children love him. There's just a bit of feedback. I won't read every one of those sentences, but there's a lot of this feedback we've received quite recently, and really loving the online platform and all the components involved in it. We've got a team, as a set of experts that have been helping us since development started on these programs, psychologists and resilience and authors, educators, experts in their field. And so they're across our website if you're interested to learn about what they're saying about the program. Now, current funding opportunities. So many of you would be joining us tonight to find out about this. If you're in the Western New South Wales region, we have a partnership with the Western New South Wales Primary Health Network. This is something that they're sponsoring this program into early learning services across the region. That includes long daycare centres, family daycare educators, preschools, family strengthening services, play groups, and after school hours care groups as well. So any service offering registered care to 0 to 6 years can be eligible in that region for full funding for this program for a 3-year subscription. So that's quite a significant length of time, and it's quite a significant investment on the behalf of the Western New South Wales Primary Health Network. We haven't seen them funding preventative educational programs like this before. So we've been working with them since 2019 when they first sponsored 10 services in the region. Then we worked with them to sponsor 76 primary schools in the region to implement PLS. And now they've come back with another reasonably sized pool of funding that is supporting. So those spaces are filling. So if you're in that region, how you get involved is you go to our website, you visit, there's a PHN funding tab on our website, you click register, my interest. We then confirm your eligibility, that you're in the catchment area of the PHN. We then send you a link to sign a memorandum of understanding, which just allows you to agree to the terms of the license of the program. You agree to participate in it because obviously if the PHN are funding it, they want people to be using it. And you agree to provide some simple SurveyMonkey online feedback to us. And you just follow the prompts to go through that process. You receive a password link. We just ask that services sign up with their generic email address. And what I mean by that is if you're a service that has an admin at email address or a director at, that's how you sign up, and all the educators in your service access the platform via that email login. So you all use the one login to access. We just ask you to use that kind of an email address. We then send you the welcome pack. Then you get into the resources, and there's no right or wrong way to do that. I'm going to show it to you right now. And Hayley then makes contact, and then you receive a survey from time to time, which we don't bombard you with those. There's probably only 2 that we would send you in, say, a 12-month period. So
also too, Jo, I don't bombard you either. I give you a little bit of time once you have signed up, because I'd like you to receive your kit and have a little bit of time to explore before I give you a call. But that doesn't mean that you can't contact me if you're ready and raring to go and want to have a chat with me before I call you.
fantastic. Oh, I'm just going to get rid of this screen. Can you now see my screen that has the program on it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Excellent. So what I'm going to do now is I've lost you for some reason. So I'm just going to somehow or another. That's okay, though. If you can see the screen, that's the main thing. So I'm going to go through this as a little demo, show you through the main features and functions of the platform, and feel free, as we said, to put any particular questions in there that you have in the chat, and we will make sure that we get to them. When I stop demoing, I'll be able to see the chat again, I'm sure. So here we are on the home page. What we recommend you do is to start at the orientation, which is up here on the left. If I click orientation, you can see there are some main buttons there on the main page, but this is the best place to start. So you might get together with your team. You might allow your team to explore this in their own time. It's really your call, as a leader in the service. But this is the place to start. You get a bit of background on who we are. You get introduced to the 6 concepts. I can click on any one of those 6 concepts and it'll take me to the background information for that. And I'm going to come back and show you that in a second. So you click on the stars to learn about each of the concepts. You can meet Possible and learn more about him and then you can start with an introduction learning experience. So that actually is the place to start because that introduces the 6 concepts. It introduces Possible. I think it plays his song, and that's so that and this orientation page is the place to start. Goes through what's in your welcome pack, explains each of the contents of that and how to use the flashcards, which are proving to be a wonderful addition to the program. And familiarise yourself with the media library. So you can click here and go straight to the media library. I'm going to show you that a little bit later. You can go to some of the key components of the platform right from this, from these links here. Here's Hayley with a little intro video. Then you can also visit another, I'm just going to admit that person in, watch some tutorial video guides. There's a whole platform tour here. So this is like what I'm doing now, but you can watch it again later, or you can watch it with people that might not have seen it yet, or make it a team meeting, and you can see some of these things in a tutorial as well. So orientation is the place to start, and that really guides you through probably in half an hour, or, you know, depending on how many tutorial videos you want to watch, you'll have a pretty good understanding of how to get started. So then we've got Possible, as mentioned before. He's got his own page. So it explained who he is, what he teaches, more about him, how to introduce him, how to just really, and we've thrown scripts in there just as an idea. It's not something you have to follow verbatim. It's just an idea that helps you not have to think about how to do all of that, and how to work with the puppet. I have a little video about that, how to make him his special place, because he does like to sit there in his special nature, scene, and observe and reflect and be involved. And then through the learning experiences, there's ideas on when you might be able to use the puppet as well. So I'm just going to bypass the educator resources for a second and go straight to learning experiences. As mentioned, you've got the intro learning experience. So this is a great place to start, to introduce Possible and all about. So every learning experience has an educator notes section, which gives you a bit of background, and then you can jump straight to the learning experience from there. So this is helping you just understand what this is all about. You get to the learning experience, and this is a great way to start introducing the children to positive living skills. I'm just going to come back to some of the other learning experiences here. So what you'll see is 48 individually prepared or pre-planned and virtually scripted, although you don't have to follow the script, learning experiences, organised under 6 main concept headings: highlights, feelings, focus, relaxation, cooperation, and self-esteem. So you'll see there's the individual learning experience names here. So there's 8 under each concept. So 6 8s are 48. I can look at it this way when I get to know them. I can also toggle this to actually give me a little bit of an overview of each learning experience. As I'm getting started, I might want to have a look at a few and go, yeah, I'd really like to talk about this today with the children at group time, for example. So that's one way to do it. And so I might pick a changing channels learning experience. So I can click on that. I come to the learning experience. Once again, it's like a slideshow. So at the beginning, there's an educator notes section, but once I'm familiar with it, I can jump straight to learning experience, straight to the start. And I can do that anywhere along here as well. I can zip back to educator notes or go forward to start of learning experience. The educator notes section gives you an overview of the learning experience, what things are available to you within the platform to support you with this, what you might want to prepare if you want to get involved with the additional resources, what the learning goals of the learning experience are, the aims and outcomes, so what the objectives. We had a curriculum expert work with us on this in terms of identifying success criteria and I can statements if you're looking for some sort of a assessment idea, and the EYLF outcomes. We are, in the next couple of months, we'll be updating this to meet the new upgraded early years learning framework as well. So every single learning experience is mapped to the EYLF, and the concepts are mapped as well. So this is about explaining. So changing channels is a pretty cool concept that kids really love. It's how they learn about how they actually have a lot of different feelings channels inside them, and we explain it to them like it's a bit like a TV, because most kids understand that. And we have lots of different feelings channels inside us, and happy sad channels, etc. So it explains the background. Then it says what we're going to be doing is talking about Possible's adventure with changing channels. So he features, there's a few animations here. That's actually one of the animations, which I won't play now, but then they're just usually about 3 to 5 or 2 to 3 minutes. So that's all about, he has an adventure where he gets lost, and he remembers how he learned how to change channels, and he changes himself to a calmer channel when he feels a bit upset and a bit nervous. So then it takes you through the story, and then you can work through the story this way and reflect as you go on how Possible was feeling. You use a feelings chart to help with that as well. And then he eventually finds his way home and has a big cook up with his friends. Every learning experience has reflection questions for you to have a discussion with the children, and then extension ideas, which you can choose to follow on with then or later. So that's an example, and I can go back to the other feelings learning experiences from here, or I can come back up to the top again and find another learning experience. So the idea of those learning experiences is they might be when you're having group time and you want to do something for sort of 10, 15 minutes with the children and go through a learning experience with them. So I'm just going to pop back to educator resources. Hope I'm going well for time. So we've got PLS concepts, which we were talking about for a moment before. So if I click on feelings, which is what the changing channels lesson is from, this gives you more background. You don't have to look at this. It's more evidence or informed reference material. There's a little video introducing you to the concept, and then it's just more reading, and you can read more about each of these concepts. That's one of Hayley's children. And look a bit more at the background. But as mentioned, that's not necessary for you to get started, but that's there for you. Educator wellbeing is a big focus for us. As mentioned, this is where you come to start learning about the 3 PD sessions I was talking about. And when you click here, you go back to the other website and you create your own professional development account where you can work on your workbooks confidentially and submit them to us if you'd like to. Learning stories. So I just want to show you one of these. So for each of those learning experiences, for example, if I go to feelings, which is the one we looked at, and let's say there's a child I'm working with or a group, might be the possums, and my name's Jo, and today's the 9th of May 2023. And let's say we did the changing channels learning experience. What that does, it starts to pre-populate. This is a learning story template. I can edit this if I want to. It's obviously an editable record. Then I can say, well, Alice then did something else. And then from here, we are going to expand on that further in this way. It shows you the EYLF learning outcomes. And if I want to, I can go to my images and I could upload a logo to this. The design of it is there so that if you'd like to, you can download it and share it with families. So these might be pictures of Alice doing that learning story, for example. That populates this document, which they're just adding onto there. Sometimes when I'm sharing and presenting, it takes a little while, but there we go there. And I go download PDF, and that brings this up into a new document that I can print, download, email, share. I can open it in a new tab if I want to, and that shows what we did and the record that I have. So what we're trying to do is help educators to save time with the records. We understand that a lot of our educators are integrating this into what they're uploading into platforms like Storypark. So it's just designed to support you in your work. The activities guide, this is something that we showed a few educators. Kath and I were meeting with some people a couple of days ago, and they were really happy to have this as part of the approach. So this is broken into some goals that you might have in the service or in the room or with the child. And if you choose the goal, like I want these children or this child to build their relationship and cooperation skills, what that does when you click on it is it suggests some of the learning experiences, the concept you'll find them in. This one is cooperation. And if you clicked on the link, you could find your way to that learning experience. So you can also, with this activities guide, is actually download it as a PDF as well and laminate it and put it on your wall if you'd like to, for example. So that's the activities guide. What else have we got? Family resources. So family partnerships are a very important part of the approach of PLS. So for example, if I was doing the feelings unit, I'll stick with that theme. I might want to share this. It's like a 2-page flyer or newsletter. I can download it, print it, expand it, and share it with the families in my community. And it gives those families some at-home tips for how they can incorporate the feelings concept so they understand what it is, what it's about, and how they can incorporate it at home.
Just on that, Joe, as well, with
Yeah.
those newsletters, I've had quite a few services say that they've actually loved it because they're utilizing those tips and popping them on their platforms as like a weekly tip for their families to look at if they're focusing on certain things.
Great. Yeah, well, that's it. And it's all flexible. Like, I'm showing it to you in a certain way. There's no right or wrong with this platform. You can use it as something where you might have some structure in the day or the week. You can use it as something where you just use it, and I'm going to get to the media library shortly, as playing the songs and reading some stories, which I'm going to show you in a moment as well. Here's some more reference to the early years learning framework there based on each of the concepts. Then we've got a national quality framework guide, which is quite detailed, gives you how the program maps to all the elements and supports you in your quality improvement plans, etc. And if there's anybody joining us tonight from Victoria, it's how we also meet the VELDF, the Victorian Early Years Learning Development Framework. So coming across here, story time. So what we've done is created some additional stories, and we're looking to expand on this as we move forward. So I can look through a bit of a library. I might want to pick Anna Loves to Learn, and I can open that story. And so what services do is cast this platform website from either an iPad or a laptop to a larger screen in most cases. I can maximize that, and then I can go through and show the story. So it's got, oh, I just went to the end. Hang on. I should be going that way. Here we go. This is the beginning. So it's about Anna liking, you know, sometimes feeling a bit nervous about learning and possible, and then she realizes all the other things that she's learning. And it's got some reflection questions. All of them have reflection questions at the end. So this just expands on the learning resources that are available. So there's quite a few there, and we're adding more. Then we've got a whole transition section of the platform where helps educators help children get ready for that important transition to school. So that's broken into the concepts with lots of little pinned ideas for each of those. And there's also a section about transitioning from, say, the baby's room to the toddler's room, or the toddler's room to the preschool room, etc. So lots of ideas in there. And thanks to Kaylee and her photographic children. And then we've got a 0 to 3 years section. Now, this is specifically designed for the younger, because the earlier we start with this, the more effective it's going to be. And so there's a lot of ideas in there for the 0 to 3s, and they're broken into the 6 concepts once again: highlights, feelings, focus, relaxation, cooperation, and self-esteem. Last but not least is the media library. And it's not last because I've got a couple of other things to tell you about. This is where you'll find relaxation audios, posters, the resource downloads that you see. Oh, see, that's not going to work for me today. Okay. It was earlier today.
It's because you've been on it too much
today. Yeah. So I might be able to see that. Let me see if I can see the animations. There we go. That shows you the animations, and I can go down here. You can see audios, posters, relaxation audios, resource downloads, stories and songs, videos. So you can search this media library. Your kids might love the Possible Loves Nature story animation. So that might be something that you use to refocus the group. There's Possible Loves Learning, Possible Special Highlight, and there's a lot more. There's a heap of relaxation audios. I just want to see if I can click on those. And these are very, very powerful. They're mostly audios. So they'll just be, children can close their eyes, listen, and they get taken on a guided meditation. Spaghetti cut toes they love, because they imagine their toes are like hard, uncooked spaghetti, and then all of a sudden they imagine they're like soft, cooked spaghetti, all soft and floppy on the plate. Floating on Clouds, Star Trek.
They're only a few minutes too, aren't they, Joe? They're only like about 5 to 7 minutes long.
Oh, so mostly 3 to 5 minutes. So you could just use it as a way to refocus everybody, or just bring the energy down if you want to in the environment. So that's the media library. So I've been through most of the components. We do have a community forum, so that's where we're encouraging our members to come and interact and share the ways that the program is supporting, or ask a question. Of course, you've got a direct sort of line, if you like, to Hayley in terms of email and phone. She'll be making contact as you move through your membership as well. But you can reach out, and of course you've got all our details. And then you can click here from here to professional development. You can go to the members store as well to order more puppets, if you like, etc. And then you can introduce your families to the family link. So that's where they can log on for free and create their own family link account and access some of these, a sample of these kinds of resources, and play along at home. So we're looking to expand that even more. So you get to that from the main website, generally speaking. So I'm going to stop sharing here, or I can keep sharing if you have specific things you want to see. We'd love to hear some questions. I'll just stop sharing for a second so I can see people. So yeah, would love to hear any questions that you have. You can either post those in the chat, or you can actually come off mute and ask us a question live. We'd love to hear from you. Yeah, so hit us with anything you'd like to know. We'd love to hear from you. I'm going to have a drink. I'm going to ask you a question. Have we shown you what you would like to see from the platform?
If you just pop it in chat if you don't want to come on.
Yeah, pop it in chat if you don't want to come off mute and be on audio.
It's okay. They don't, they don't want to engage. It's fine too. I mean,
yeah.
they're on all day, really, aren't they?
But really, is it? I guess is there any particular question you have that we haven't answered? Is there anything that have any feedback that you have in regard to how you could see this supporting your service, or how it might already be supporting? I am going to share my other screen again and just share one final slide. But in the meantime, yeah, feel free.
I had a conversation with another service today who mentioned that when you were talking about the scripts before within the program, Joe, throughout the learning experiences and a lot of the directors have been saying that the scripts have really been helping educators that don't feel as confident when talking to children about certain things. So whether that might be really touchy subjects, or when it comes to talking about emotions and validating them, a lot of the feedback has been that thankfully with the scripts or even the learning stories, this has really helped their educators to be able to have that confidence when they're talking to children.
Yeah, that's so important, isn't it? Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Hales. Yeah, so really this is where we can either answer anything that you still have. Don't be shy. If you think of something after, go on, Kath.
Tracy's asking how do we say we share it with families? So we've got the flyers. When you get your kit, there's some flyers in there, that a bunch of flyers that you could share out. You might need to copy some more, and that will give them the access how to get on and log into the family link. You can download those newsletters if you choose to off the platform itself.
Yep.
So various ways.
Services are also linking their programming and planning because that's obviously shared with families. So what we've had, so a recent example was there was a service who had a child that was having massive biting issues, and they've really embedded Possible within their service. And so they're now into the process of where they're documenting observations on the child, which are being shared with the families, and then they're also sending Possible home, because they've got strategies at the service with Possible and how he talks to them about being kind and how biting hurts and things like that. And now they're taking that home with the family. And then they're also connecting to the family link, because there's content in there about Possible. So there's, as you can see, it's kind of like a full circle that they've got going to include the families in the program.
Yeah, and some of them put it on the Facebook pages as well. So I can see Jean wants to say something, so I'm just going to ask you to
Yeah.
unmute here. Am I doing that? Ask to unmute. There we go.
Yeah, that's okay. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. As I say, good morning. It's absolutely not. This is amazing because I haven't actually jumped onto one of these before, and I've had the program for a while. I am realizing that the staff are needing more from me. And so that's why I decided to come on this evening to get a clearer picture of exactly what I can't depend on them, no matter how good they are, that they are actually going to take it on themselves and run with it. So I have to get involved. And of what I've seen of Poss and Bill, and I'm a big fan of what you do. It's amazing, and it's very comprehensive. It's very detailed and very simple, especially the 0 to 3, where targeting it in our older rooms, but the younger rooms, they'll bring out possum, but to actually be able to guide them more, which they have been told, but they have to actually now, it'll have to be monitored, where we can break down the 0 to 3 and use and encourage them to use it, because as Hayley just said there about biting, I mean, isn't that happening every year at some point? Either it's one child or another, and behaviors are getting more difficult to manage, and parents actually are getting harder because they don't want to know. So that's you putting Poss and Bill between us and the child and the parent. Putting Poss and Bill between us and the parent is helping then support the child. So it's Possum and the child in the center. And we use it so we can subtly start to talk to parents about behaviors using Poss and Bill. So that's just what came to mind there. So in our preschool space, we've got 4 children already this year, after settling after the first 90 days, that are going to need more support, and using Poss and Bill it's a number of different things that are going on, whether it's throwing books all off the shelf, and it becoming a game with 2 children, and then being able to support that with Poss and Bill. I can actually see that being a really big positive.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Jean. And that's so true. And we have some more ideas we're going to be implementing over the next couple of months with engaging helping to engage the families even more in that possible relationship, and help and teaching them through some more resources we're going to add to the family link, how to use him at home, how to incorporate him into those daily routines that will help those challenges happen. So then if everybody's on that page and he's a really key little player in it, then it becomes a partnership, a stronger partnership, getting the outcomes
so to be
that
able
you're looking for.
To talk to the parent and to have the resources there, the information at hand, because we're all time poor. So it's amazing to be able to jump on and then to hold the meetings, to do your observations, to check in then with the parent that you need to have a conversation. I think this is a really good tool for that. Yeah, straight away.
I think you also mentioned too, Jean, that you have you've got your 2IC, you've got Ellie there, and she's very, very good with interacting with the staff, and she's also very good with positive living skills. And I think that's the key driver for positive living skills, is to have someone hero PLS at the service. So if you have that main person who can drive your team, so it might be educational leader, it might be 2IC, it's probably not the director, because the director has so much going on in their day.
It's hard to get to it.
Hard. So I think that's a big thing that's really helped Jean at her service as well.
Yeah, that's been amazing. Like we have a child protection champion and a PLS promoter, or a PLS resource person that someone can go to, and has helped in the past. It's that the staffing has been crazy at the moment, and the casuals that have been coming through. But again, we can turn that around and use Poss and Bill for that too. Welcoming someone into the space, and true teachers. And because there is a lot of different faces coming in. We do have our staff base, which is fine, but that could easily change when someone just wants to make a change. But yeah, thank you for this. This is
That's
lovely.
given me another idea, actually. Yeah, thanks, Jean. Really appreciate that. And look, as we've had some people really comment here. I'll just read a couple of the chats out because everyone can't necessarily see that if they're watching a recording. We do other programs like this, but I can see how this would work and add to what we do already. And I think that's important to understand too, that this integrates super well with other approaches that you might already be doing. It's designed to complement and add value and expand on and work with anything. So we've answered the other question.
That's
yeah,
interesting, Joe, because I hope you don't mind me mentioning Mari, but we had a conversation today, and she's all over mental well-being in her service. I mean, she's amazing at what she's doing already, and so she was concerned about overloading her staff with more. But I think what I said, if you can jump on tonight, you might see how it will complement your other programs that you're using. And I think maybe you've seen that tonight, which is really fantastic that you have. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, and look, someone's asking about, so you've got the opportunity if you're in Western New South Wales to click on the funding tab of the website. You've also got, if you're not in that funding catchment and you'd like to look at investing in the program, you go to the Early Childhood Program page. There's 3 bands of pricing for a 12-month subscription based on how many educators you have in your service. So it starts at $770 for a year, and that includes our support, the kit, and a 12-month subscription. So have a look at that, and we'd love to chat to you. Please reach out, and we'll have your details because
I'll reach out to it. And too, to check out, like we know the funding offer is in Western New South Wales, which is absolutely brilliant. Of course, for those who aren't from Western New South Wales, other opportunities around you for local funding. I mean, look into that. I know there's club funding that supports programs like this. There's lots of different opportunities. So if that is an issue for you, otherwise, I don't know. Some services seem to get more funding than others, and it depends on how you
it's definitely fitted in. It's fitted under some inclusion funding in the past. We've fitted under professional development funding in the past. So if you've got funding opportunities, have a think about how this could fit. And Jasmine's also saying she just got her welcome pack a couple of weeks ago, and she put a highlight clicker at the front office with the poster and signs asking families to share their positive stories. So, and they received a lot of clicks, which is really cool. That's really great. So thanks for sharing that. And
Tracy wants to say something there. Just I don't know. Do we have to unmute her, Evie? Or can Tracy unmute you?
Yeah. Thanks.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just going to say that a couple of years back, we were funded by Inclusion Support for Behaviour Management Training. We did a year's training with Peak Behavioural Solutions, which was great. And we got a lot out of it. We collaborated with families and the children, what they wanted to see in the centre, which was, being kind, positive play, be safe, things like that.
Yep.
My problem is a lot of my team that were involved in that training have now moved on elsewhere, and there's basically only 3 of us left, really. That went through that training. So, and it's quite difficult, when you're on the floor. I know for myself, when I do induction with new staff, I go through our behaviour management folder and discuss it with them. But, we hope that we all mentor new staff, but it can be quite difficult. So this would be something that'd be really good to share with my team.
Definitely.
And Tracy, do you know what I was thinking as well? Sorry, I'm Jean. I was feeling that in my QIP, I have embedded PLS in my QIP. And as a result of that, when someone comes to join the team, they get an introduction with the philosophy of how we are, because it's the foundation of everything. So if PLS is embedded, they know from the very beginning of starting with us that this is part of the program. So also then the philosophy links to our program in each room. And in each room, we have, say, 6 or 7 sections of the program, and PLS is built into that program, and it has to be done every day. So we're a child interest-based, we're a G8 centre here, and we're a child interest-based program. And with that in mind, then with the sections of the program that's linked to the philosophy, then that team that she joins, he joins, have a program to follow, and every day PLS is in that in some form or other. It's keeping it interesting for them, which has been something that I've now learned this evening from having listened to Joe speak, was keeping them interested by asking them to go broader on what's available. So that's where they are doing it, but and repetition is important in our industry. But it's me saying, okay, hey guys, you've been doing this for a while. Have you looked at this? Where are we going with that? What's happening in the room? And
so
how can we use
keep it alive?
Yeah, keeping it alive. Yeah, and that's the job. So I'm not obviously going to be doing it for them because it's their job, and then the foundation is there. So that might help. I don't know if that's any help.
Well, I know I'm always talking to my educators about, you know, how we, like our new staff, this is what we do here, you know, because we changed our language with the way we spoke with the children. You know, like we don't say, no, you can't do that. We say, you know, well, at the moment we're doing this, but maybe later on we could do that. And then we follow on with that later on, you know, so the child feels heard.
So important.
Yeah. And
validated. Yep.
Yeah. So I try and, you know, keep that all going with the staff, and I'm, you know, talking to the new team members quite often, but, you know, like I can't be with them all the time to ensure that that's what's carried on.
Do you know what I did last year? I haven't done it this year yet. It's been a bit tricky for me, but I would do a huddle in my room 15-20 minutes every week with each room. And when I sit with that huddle, there's specific things we talk about, and then they go through the program with me, and it keeps them very accountable with the huddle. So, you know, I need to get to them. So I haven't been able to get to them because really January, February, they're settling. March, and then here we April, and we're now in May. So come May, I started doing the huddle, and that's every week. I'll go into each room, and then the ed leader comes in behind me, but I am setting the foundation first, and then I'm supporting the ed leader, and then I'm very aware of what they're doing and what they're not doing. And then the accountability doesn't run away from me.
So I'm also the ed leader as well as the director. And
oh my goodness,
wearing a few hats,
Tracy.
are you?
Yeah. Do you not find it brilliant though to be the ed leader? Because I've been taught, and that's why I introduced the huddle. Because to be honest with you, if I'm not all over it, then no one else is going to be all over it. So if I could lose my ed leader tomorrow, which is on the card, she's a young woman, she's doing a degree, she'll move on to other things. So I have to be in the loop. So I think it's a great place to be. Because
I loved ed leader.
Yeah, maybe I just enjoy that side of things. It's
it'd be good if that was the only position I had to do.
Yeah, but then I have a small centre, like I've got 38 children. Have you got more?
No, we're a 43 place.
Beautiful. So isn't it lovely? You know all their names, you know every single one of them.
But there's two services, so we've got a mobile service as well.
Yeah. So isn't it amazing all the different dynamics?
It's
so actually on that as well, Jean. When you were talking about staff accountable, we've actually got a few services that have PLS in their induction process with new staff members. So that's also a really valuable tool to have.
Because if my assessor comes in, if I have my A&R, we're always preparing for A&R. It's not for the day of. No, thank you. I think I'd die. I'd have a heart attack. So
anyone would,
Yeah. And I've been there with A&R, the last one, and it was a killer, you know, because the team were only together for 8 months, and it near killed me. And I said, I'm not doing that again. And it was the third one I'll go through now this year at some point. But it was having, I forget my train of thought, but it was having, yes, them prepared for those questions.
Yeah.
And preparing A&R all the time. And if I've got POS and Bill
Yeah.
and positive living skills all over my quip, that's the first thing they look at, because that's the foundation of everything I do.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to have it in there, well, then I have to have them all understanding what they're actually going to be talking about and living and
Absolutely, yeah.
breathing it.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's not embedded and he has to come out. But I don't want him to come out. So, yeah, so it's my responsibility, their accountability and my responsibility that it's to keep us alive. Yeah.
Oh, thanks so much for your contribution, ladies, to this discussion. And I think it's really interesting. I mean, I know some people who are sort of in the background here need to move to head off. And so we thank everyone for coming along and for, contributing and for asking questions and for being here, spending an hour of your night, with us. So we'd love to, and, come along to, we're running these every 6 weeks, and we'll record them. So
get your educators to come
yeah,
along.
get your team along.
come-
It's really to re-energize them, even if you've had positive living skills for a while, because it's an opportunity for them to hear straight from us, to see anything, because as we release more, which we will, in the platform, you'll see latest things, latest fictions and functions, or for new staff, or that sort of thing.
One other thing I was thinking of, what Jasmine has done is really great in terms of having the highlight clicker, the front. So really encouraging the positivity amongst the families, but embedding across the culture. So running around with a highlight clicker yourselves, remembering your own highlights will help you. Also the team, really leading that, and because that really does help to change our channels and really look at what we are.
A lot of teams are doing it at their staff
huddle.
meetings.
Little huddle, like start with a highlight, finish with a highlight, whatever.
It changed a lot of the primary school, a lot of the primary schools we spoke to, it changed their faculty meetings, because they had to actually start with highlights, not with everything that wasn't working.
Complaints.
And we are, our brains are set to what we want to improve, and that's what we want to be focused on. But if we have to start with what we appreciate and what's working, then that's a brain training exercise in itself. And it was a game changer for some of those schools.
And we even had the kids were going in, the researcher told us this, we didn't hear this from the school, the researcher was there, and whilst she was there talking to the teachers, some of the kids had run in to ask could they have the highlight clickers whilst they were in recess, and grabbed some highlight clickers to go on highlights. I mean, so that is, that is something that is working, and embedding across the culture is something really
and also
really game-changing.
Kids are taking it home as well, Kath. A lot of services, kids are taking the highlight clickers at home, and it's becoming a nightly ritual at their dinner table. Even getting their dads or their mums to tell their highlight, and sometimes it's like squeezing your blood out of a stone. It becomes a really, really like ritual for them of a night time,
Yeah, we do it here. We've been doing it. We're doing it, but we do it here. We have our highlights every day and share just on our chat stream.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, as a team, we share our, it's sort of our gratitude thing, but it's the same.
It's really healthy, isn't it? It's really healthy because there's so much
changes.
stress and everything around that if we go down that burrow hole, which any of us can do at any time. It's a really dangerous place to go. And if you're young and doing it, and our sector is so important, 0 to 5, what I feel, and that's why I get up in the morning, because it's so important that we support these families, and that link is amazing for the families. It's amazing, and to support them, because they turn to us to know what to do. They want to know what to do, and if there's any hard
Jean, even the ones that are not aware. By bringing these little things in with Possible and things like that, they're becoming aware, without even realizing it, or the kids are taking it home and the parents are going, where's this coming from? That's what I find is so rewarding.
And that's the whole goal of it, is generational change. That's what we're all working together to achieve. And this is just part of the potential of it.
And you do find that parents do want their children to stay small and young and not actually understand the fact that they're developing. And this is also very much part of that as well. It's encouraging them to let go of and let decap, they're capped, take the cap off and let them actually spread their wings and fly and do what they need to do. We had a little fellow, he went home and his father said, did you put his shoes on him, to the wife? And the wife says, no, you put them on. And they said, no, we didn't put, he'd actually dressed himself and he was under 2.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's from PLS in the room. We do, then we in the younger room, and because it's all different again, it's like starting all over again every year, you know, trying to get everyone back in zinc again, zinc, and it takes a little bit of time. But they were doing ring a rosy.
And that's okay,
and
because
holding
the whole
hands.
point of PLS is repetition. Yeah,
Correct.
it's
Yeah.
okay. And that's why
Yeah.
it's so valuable, is because it doesn't matter how many times you do it or how
Correct.
differently or
Yeah.
similar you do it.
Yeah.
The
It's the ground
concept's the same.
in our industry. It's the ground. It's the foundation of them moving into primary school, and the repetition. It's
Well, that
you know, they'll
is,
take their
that's-
hat off, they'll put their hat on, they'll take their hat off, put it on, and you know, it's constant. Yeah.
That's how we learn.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, look,
brilliant.
thank you so
Well,
much,
thank you.
ladies. Really, really appreciate your input and spread the word. We'll be getting these links out for this recording and then the future versions of this session. We'll share it around and invite anybody who's been participating in PLS for ages or wants to know about it from the start. You know, that's a great way to interact as well. So thank you,
That's right,
and
parents as well.
have a wonderful rest of your evening. Get some relaxation in, and
Adding it to my highlight.
yes,
Yes,
good
that's
on you.
it, Evie.
Thanks, Evie. Oh, thanks so much. Take care, everybody.
See you
You'll
all.
have
Sign
Thank
off.
you.
Thank you.
You'll have to
Bye.
start
Thank
the next
you.
meeting with a highlight.
We will.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
We will. Good idea.
Good idea. Why didn't we think of
Okay,
that?
see ya.
Thank you. Bye.